Hello everyone, it's finally came. Well, not the fur, the fabric. I got some yellow fabric for myself. I'm only gonna use like a little bit of this, but it's actually quite large. I can use it like a matador or something. I don't know, maybe I can use it for something else. But yeah, this is just gonna be like for one little part, which honestly kind of sucks, but whatever. There's not much I can do about it. I didn't really say how much I wanted. It's like the littlest I can get, sadly enough. But yeah, now I have this yellow fabric to use. That's pretty cool. Oh boy, I got a package! It's from Amazon this time. Oh boy, let's see what we got here. These? No, these aren't mine. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not that weird. Well, that was a fun little endeavor. Yeah, I decided to buy them. I'm waiting on some other packages, though. Who knows what'll show up this time? Oh, we got ourselves the Beltbase. We have ourselves a little bit of a thing that we can do now. We now have the fabric, so now gotta do the cutting. But first, we need to take out little sewing materials because we have ourselves some pinning to do. It's very simple. I've done this before. Just put it through. Put it through again. There we go. Simple enough. Okay, so now that it's cut, I need to start going at it. Okay, we got that part out of the way. Fabric scraps. And now we can just unpin this. I remember back then I used sewing needles as pins. They weren't that great, so yeah, I'm glad I found these ones. So now we have a circle. Now, what we need to do is we need to cut this part straight in half, because if we cut this straight in half, maybe I should use like a paper cutter or something. I don't think I have one of those, but that'd be kind of cool to have. Now we have two pieces of somewhat linear pieces. Okay, now we got that out of the way. I now can take out another new toy that I got recently. Oh, nice long yard of zipper. So if we just I think we can cut this like in half or something. There we go. That looks good. That looks fine enough. And basically the idea is that we need to put this zipper in between these two pieces of fabric and then sew that onto my belt base. First we need to attach our little accessories. Zippers actually. They not offer any stoppers? I feel like they should have offered that. Huh. That's probably fine. Yes! Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Dang it. Well, at least I know it works. I just need to somehow put them together again. Sew it on, then do all that other stuff. Now I have the zipper, I have the little thingy. Just put that all back into my little thing off screen. And now we just need to somehow sew these things together. Okay, I got the zipper all figured out. However, I need to grab these two pieces right here. I'm going to run them through the sewing machine. So, I have them set on a relatively interesting sewing pattern. So I'm hoping this works. So I'm going to slam these two together. Hopefully that's... good enough. Probably not. I'm gonna take the zipper out, and then I'm gonna do it like this. Hopefully that works. Just slam that down. And the pedal. And wait, no. They need to be separate together like that. Okay, something went wrong. Well, it kind of went in the first time, but then it got stuck. Okay, that's fine. Just rip out the old thread. Try again. Okay, we're good. I got another shot at this. Hopefully it doesn't break. Hopefully the thread doesn't break midway. Although, if it does break midway, it's not that much of a bad thing. Although, it's just going to be a bit annoying, which is... I don't like being annoyed. Okay. Let's try this again. Got another... back up a little bit. Hey, it worked. It now went all the way through. Just drag that out a little bit. Bam. Look at that. Nice stitching. I went with a little zigzag seam. I noticed. I think though that's pretty firm for what it is. Although I probably should have went with the long side first, as in the zipper side. But let's try the other one. Let's try the other side. So now we got that part out of the way. We can start going side of this. Pretty simple. Simple. Reset. That. Pull it out. Bring it back. Let's do another one. Try and line it up here. I don't want to mess it up I don't want to mess it up. So, got that. Slam it down. I always like saying slam it down. So it feels like a rewarding thing to say. Take it out. I feel like that one's a bit more usable. Like, look at that. And it's all
stitched together. Feels nice and firm. The only thing that could possibly break is the fabric itself. But as of right now, I don't think that'll happen. Like, look at that. That is some nice stitching, I think. I heard that triangles are stronger than lines. I heard that triangles are stronger than lines or squares. So, using that logic, it shouldn't break that easily. I don't think it will, but I am a bit skeptical. Like I said, this is the first thing I've made. This is the first thing I've made in this project, technically. Anything to do with sewing was completely by my thing. I never learned this from anyone. I kind of just did it myself. It might not look that great, but it's not going to be visible, so it's not really that much of a problem, I don't think. However, now I need to fit the zipper on. There we go. It went in. So now we have this whole portion right here is just the first part right here. So we're gonna cut this little portion off. A little zipper portion. And if I have a needle, I'm gonna try and thread the needles. I'm gonna try and thread a needle through that so I can actually have a little bit of something to work with. So I'll have a little bit of a stopper. They didn't supply any stoppers to me through this thing. I thought it would, but it didn't. So I'm gonna have to find a needle. Okay, I found one. It's a bit small, and I haven't used a sewing needle in a while. I've been thinking that I was only gonna use the sewing machine, but luckily I have learned a little bit of sewing back in the day. Like when I used to make plushies. They aren't that great, but I learned how to use a sewing needle. And I also learned that you need a lot more thread than you think you need, so my mouth hurts a lot. I think that there's something wrong with my wisdom teeth. Anyway. It doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be functional at this point. It's not even on the screen. Why am I even showing this? Okay, now with that out of the way, make a little bit of a thing. So with that out of the way, if I just try and unzip this, it's not coming out. So that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So now I need to somehow stop the rest of the two different things from intercepting. So now we have this monstrosity of a thread job. That sounds like a sex joke. Okay, so with that out of the way, we need to figure out how I need to do with these two things, because they're kind of being stuck together, and I kind of need to make sure that these things do not ever come off. Because if I zip up, if I'm too reckless, I know that eventually it would just come off, and everything would be ruined. So I don't zip up too much, so it comes off this way. Now I basically sealed off this part, so it shouldn't come off that way. But if I go over this way, it'll just break off and I'll lose my zipper and I have to reattach it, and especially if it's on something, then it's just gonna be a mess. Okay, so I did a little bit of stuff off screen. However, although I don't know how nice it would look like. So I basically just sewed these two stoppers together with a lot of thread, and I actually messed up the tutorial. I actually missed a part of the tutorial because I wasn't supposed to cut it in half. I was supposed to like make a little slit and then insert the zipper, but that's fine. It should be. They're essentially the same thing. So I basically just like put the zipper there. It's just now the belt base is just a little bit, smaller than this, but that's fine. That's honestly going to be if I need to trim it, I can always trim it. It's always nice to have more of something than less of something, because if you have less of something and you need it to be a certain size, you're just gonna have to replace it. So yeah, I did the thingy. I have the zipper, it zips down, it stops, zips up, it stops. It shouldn't break out unless, I don't know, like 20 threads all fail. So that should be good.
Hello everyone. I know, it's been a while, based on everything that's been happening. I really want to talk about all the stuff that's been happening, but honestly, I realized now that, well, as much as you probably want to hear about what's going on, most people are here for the fursuit stuff, not necessarily what's going on in my life. And I was supposed to be able to purchase the fur by now, but no, the shipment got delayed, so now we have to deal with, it wasn't like, now, it's late March, it's March 30th, they said it would be here by March, they haven't got it, they're saying that it's gonna be 1 to 2 weeks from now. As far as I know, this is gonna start being a thing in April or May. At this point, I'm not even sure if they're gonna be restocking by the summer or not, because there's so many goddamn delays, and I feel like I picked the absolute wrong time to even consider making a fursuit because of this delay. Like, I wanted to start making it back in February. It's been March, and now it's almost April. And and it's gonna be like mid-April. It's probably gonna be like mid-April if they're actually not lying. And I'm just like, oh my god, why are you taking so long? Yeah, so that's why this video is gonna be late. Even though this video is probably gonna be shorter than the other one, even though it's been a couple weeks. So, I guess if you want to hear what's been going on, I'll be vague. A friend left the server due to problems. Another friend decided to do a little stuff. And I've just been trying to hold myself together. I'm not depressed or anything, but I really wanted to give an update once I had my fur, because that's the point of this series. And I haven't been able to do that because there is no fur. Because they haven't restocked yet. Maybe it's like the whole COVID shipping delay sort of thing, but my gosh, I have never had a shipping delay over multiple months. And of course, it's the time where I decide to even try to make a fursuit is when this happens. Maybe I should have just bit the bullet and bought gray and black instead of charcoal gray and stone gray like I wanted, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a setback. It's a problem. But honestly, the reason I didn't want to buy the fursuit fabric now and use the colors that I don't like or wouldn't prefer is because in the long run, when I make a full fursuit, it's gonna be that way. So yeah, the whole point of me saying this is that I am really trying to get the fursuit done. I'm just not, because even though I have a small portion of what could be considered a fursuit, like that's 1 or like a half of a percent, I can't even get the fursuit done. Oh, so tired. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So this video is probably going to be coming out on like April 14th or 24th because of the shipping delay, because I want to have a tale done by episode 2, because everything else is just supposed to be done by now, but it just isn't. So, 2 months in, might as well have a tale. So yeah, sorry about that.
Hello everyone. I know it's been a while. I haven't been doing a lot of progress reports recently because a lot of stuff has been happening. But the thing is, I know that's a weird thing because I say that nothing has been happening when I should be recording stuff when it happens, but you live and learn. So, the reason I've been waiting, because today is April 14th, and I've been waiting for the fursuit. I've been waiting for the fur to restock because today, April 14th, it said 15th, but it's now restocked. I can now start measuring my fursuit stuff because the gray fur won't be ready until later in April. So I've been doing a lot of research recently. I've recently realized that the fursuit tutorial that I was watching is a bit hard to follow at times. I can tell that they're not a native English speaker, and I have nothing against non-native English speakers, but when you're making a tutorial, I feel like they should really be like hyper-focusing on what you should be doing instead of like assuming that you do know. Because when you're making a tutorial, you gotta assume that this is someone's first tutorial that they're ever watching. They don't know anything, and they're just looking at your stuff. You want to treat every tutorial that you make like it's their first time watching. So they did finish their Protogen fursuit, and I have made a few notes. For example, it was a bitch to put on. So I decided that I'm going to not make it hard to put on. Because for one thing, I want to be able to put on my Protogen suit without people around. I don't know, I'm a loner. I don't have friends. I don't want to ask someone to put on a fursuit for me, or help me put on a fursuit. As much as I would love to see their reaction, I don't think that's a good thing. So, the main thing I want to do is, now that the charcoal fur has been restocked, I can now focus on trying to get the fur measurements for the sleeves, because I've done a little bit of research, and doing arm sleeves connected to paws is not necessarily a weird thing to do, especially if you can have a thing where it's just like attaches to, where you can have the thing attached under the sleeve or something like that, and it would just work like a zipper. So I decided that I'm going to measure myself on camera. So the main two things that I heard that you need for arm sleeves are, well, the length of your arm, basically from shoulder to wrist, and then the circumference of the bigger part of your arm, which is the circumference of your shoulder. So I do not have a tape measure, but I do have a tape measure. So that, I feel like that should be, it works. It is not necessarily it's not exactly flexible, but I am combating that with another thing, a handkerchief. So I'm going to be wrapping this around my arm and then like holding the part where it should move like this. It's like a, oops, like a, it's like putting on a, what is it, a blood pressure thing. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. And then we take a little measurement here, and that's about 14 inches or so. I see. So that's like 14 inches. And then the length of my arm, which is simple. You hold it in one hand. This. You bring it up, straighten it, and you go down a bit, and like 21 inches. That's like 14 by 21 inches. And I'm going to need to do that twice, so that's 28 by 22 inches. I'm going to be adding like a little bit of leeway, but luckily the sleeves are basically rectangles, so we're going to be doing that. So, yeah, I'm going to be ordering some fur now, and I'll be back in a while because this is going to be fun. I also realized that the Protogen feet paws are also going to need the black fur as well as the tails. So I'm going to be printing out the templates. I'm going to buy and print. I'm going to be buying and printing out the templates and then trying to figure out how all these things work. They need to be, I need to make sure I get enough fur in order to use it, in order to make a fursuit for myself. It is kind of hard to make a fursuit. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of strategy. You want to make sure that you want to make a fursuit that's easy to get into, because I know that less simple fursuits are easier to get into, but I also know that complicated fursuits do have ways to get into, and I do not want to struggle for 27 minutes trying to get my legs on. So that's my plan for the rest of the time. Now, as of what's going on in the rest of my life, I decided to try and truncate down exactly what's happening. I will say that the 12th was one of the worst and best days of my life simultaneously. But aside from that, not a lot of stuff has been happening. Well, actually, tons of stuff has been happening, but I can't really go into it, and I'm not sure you want to see that in a fursuit making journey video vlog style series. As much as you would probably want to hear a lot about my personal life, there's probably like a bunch of you who are just here to see the fursuit stuff. Yeah, so that's why I'm not uploading this on the 14th. Instead, I'm gonna like push this back to the 24th because I haven't been uploading recently, and I feel like I need to have more substantial content in order to present it to the masses when I have stuff going on. And I want to make sure that you guys are getting the content that you want and not the content that I want, necessarily. Because the stuff that I want to put onto the YouTube channel, sometimes I don't want to put on stuff that requires a lot of work, especially if I think it's not ready yet. And when I didn't have anything to show for episode 1, I felt really bad. And I wanted for episode 2 to have at least something going for it, and I now have something going for it. So that's my plan for the rest of the time here. I'm actually going to be ordering the black fursuit stuff later today, and hopefully it'll be here in a couple days, and then I can start measuring out and researching and all that stuff. So thank you so yeah, that's what's going on. So we got ourselves the measurements that we need to start working on our hand paws. The basic idea is that since we have the circumference of our paws, we will also of our shoulder, we will also have the circumference of our wrist and how big we need to make this piece of paper here and how large we need to be. Ignore that part, I had a hangnail. So the part of this is that we need to start with a basis of how long these things should be. Now, if you remember earlier, I said that my arm was 14 inches long, 14 inches by circumference of around my shoulder, give or take about an inch. So I got myself a framing square. This should be pretty helpful when it comes to making adjustments. I didn't have a regular length ruler, so I decided to use a framing square because I was going to use this anyway. So we have ourselves the framing square right here, and we need to make a line around the middle that's around 7 inches long, since that's how short it is. So I'm going to start the 1. Then we're going to kind of go here. Whoop. That's a bit of a problem. Like that, and then just like draw a nice line. That's basically where the thing is going to start. At least that's where I think it should start. I hope I'm doing this right. So I'm gonna need to get a pencil. Do I have a pencil around here? I don't really have a pencil, so I'm just gonna go grab one real quick. Now, since this is around 7 inches or so, we can put that there. It's upside down, as you can see. So basically, what I want to do is I want to measure my hand here. The hand is going to be a bit big, so I do have a couple other pieces of printer paper just in case I don't have the thing I need. So we have the thing here, and we're going to just be measuring a kind of a small portion, like a. I'm going to be basically like tracing a bit of my hand here from the sides. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to go for, except it's going to be a bit, I need to measure it a bit more like this, perhaps. It's kind of a weird shape, I understand. So we're just gonna be, what if I just trace my hand like this, like I'm making a hand turkey, and then I just like kind of connect the dots like this. So there's the hand, and I want my claws to kind of come out at around the 3rd inch of my fingers. So like this, like this. I don't know why I kind of want it that way, but I do, so I'm going to just make it like that. Maybe for like a little less dexterity, but also like substantial enough claws to make it worth it? I don't know. So basically, I'm just trying to make it kind of like a dome shape of sorts. So like this, and then like this, perhaps? Maybe a bit smaller. It's okay if it's gonna be a slightly smaller. I suppose it just kind of looks a bit odd when I put it like that, because the substantial part of my wrist is gonna be a bit there. But that's fine. From what I can tell, I'm going to be basically like attaching this to like the end of my sleeves. I'm basically just going to be like sewing them together, like how the arm sleeves is going to be like extending through here. So, and that's kind of what I want. I don't exactly know if that's the best way to make a fursuit. I don't think so, but whatever. I'm making this myself. You can't stop me. Anyway, the fact is that I'm just trying to make it as clean as possible here. I kind of might want to make the claws slightly smaller. I mean, slightly bigger. The hand paws are going to be a bit smaller. I don't know if I'm going to be adding beans to my character or not. I love beans on furries, but I don't know. But I've established to basically my entire thing that I don't have hand beans. I have toe beans, which is a bit of a thing. So I don't exactly know if I want that, but I will be probably trying to come up with an idea that might work with that. but yeah, basically my hand, that's what's gonna look like. That's my hand traced out, and here's basically where the thing is gonna be. This big line here. Do I have a Sharpie? Yes, I do have a Sharpie. So I could just like trace this out like this. So you can more easily see it, and I can easily cut it out and attach it to what I'm trying to make here. I wonder what kind of music I chose to play over this. Maybe like a funky thing. So, yeah, like that. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of like a nub of sorts. Yeah, it like stretches around my palm. The palm is gonna be a bit weird. So yeah, that's where the wrist is. That's where the 7 inches, and then we're gonna be curling up here, and I'm basically just gonna be attaching this nub part to my arm, to the arm piece. So let's get straight into that. Okay, so we got ourselves the stuff that we need to make the sleeves. Now what we do need is just a little bit more prep time here. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. We got ourselves the framing square and the hand paws. Now we know the dimensions. We have ourselves a framing square here. So from inside here, we can see that this kind of goes extending to 14 inches on its own. Over here it goes up to 22. So if we just draw a line like this, and then just draw a line so all the way over to here, that's 22 inches. And then we just gotta basically draw the same thing over, and that's basically how long my arm is. This. And then the other thing is that these hand paws right here will be attached basically here and here. So there's going to be 2 of them. Now I need to start mapping out the design of the paws themselves, because there's going to be sleeves on it that will be designs that will be used on the sleeves. So we need to work on that now. Luckily, I do have printer paper on the side, so I can work on sketching out designs. Now the basic idea is that there's going to be a couple of points. There's going to be like it's kind of like something like an arrow point, where it's just like here and then like this, and they kind of just like connect like this, but kind of more slighted, I suppose. I need to start working on the design for when this thing works. So it's gonna be like positioned here, 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 and here, here, like around the upper armpit, around the middle of the armpit, on the lower half, on the upper half of the lower half, and the lower half of the lower half. So I'm gonna start with a simple point design, I suppose, like this, and then kind of just like connect the dots, I suppose. Like so. If I just like grab the framing square here and just draw a line here and here, and just keep connecting the dots like lines here. Here, with this part here, basically I now have my design all figured out, at least one half, because that will go on one side of the arm, and the other side of the arm will be basically like this. So I'm gonna be basically just, instead of like grabbing like a piece of printer paper and basically like printing out designs, I'm basically just gonna put it underneath and start tracing it where they think I should go. So I have design here. I have a Sharpie, so I can just like get rid of the Sharpie if I want to, but I feel like I will be able to remember. Yeah. And then on the other side, it's a bit lighter, but it basically is the same thing. Although I might want to like make sure that I have them aligned, because they do have to line up. Yeah, that works. Kind of like lines up there, here, I suppose. Like sliding it under something, I suppose. This. And then we just move this in, align it with the middle, and then we can start tracing. Oh no, you're tracing your own design. Woohoo. Like this. So that's the inner part. Now the outer, now the line itself will also be going down on the side here. Trace that down to 7 inches. Trace it down to 22. And then it's like that. It's a line of symmetry. And then we can start tracing the design inside. So, it's a bit weird, I suppose, but it works, and I know I'm a bit unorthodox when it comes to tracing and making stuff, but well, my motto is, if it works, it works, and if it works, then it does work. Then it doesn't really matter how I got there. It kind of just matters that it doesn't fall apart on me, which I'm pretty sure will not happen. I like to think I'm a pretty smart person, although I have messed up on every IKEA furniture thing I've ever bought by messing up one screw or one nail or one bolt. And I know that that screw or nail or bolt is going to come up in this project. At some point, it will come up. I'm just waiting for that time where it's just like, it will happen. And now it kind of looks like it's a bit less pointed. I think I can fix that. Yeah, the outside will look nicer. I imagine that the inside will probably look as good as it ever will be. And I have a feeling that I also envisioned... Wait, is it? No, wait, it doesn't matter. I was thinking, oh shoot, does it point towards my hands or do they point away? But it's symmetrical. See, it won't matter because I'm just gonna, if it does turn out it's pointing towards my hands, I can just attach it the other way. So like this. And then we attach it like here. I wonder what editor Golden is deciding to put for this portion, like music-wise. There's probably something funny going on up there. I wonder what I'll pick in the future. Maybe something stupid. I don't know. Anyway, this. Bam, we got ourselves a design. Well, kind of. I'm going to do a little bit of refining a little bit just to try and get it right, but that's basically the design I'm going for. This whole thing, yeah. It's like little arrows pointing towards things. And I know, and then I can just like attach the arms to wherever I can attach the hands to wherever I think it should attach to. It should be pretty easy. So yeah, that's what's going on. Now I just need to cut this out, figure out where to put it, and then boom, we got ourselves a nice bit of fursuit making done today.
So now that we got that out of the way, I cut out the design from the fursuit sleeves. So now it's just like all these different things. Now we need to work on the claws. The claws are important. So we need to, from the tutorial I've seen, you need to make the so you need to draw a line, obviously. You need to draw a line that's relatively thicker than both of your than two of your fingers, like probably like a third finger at least in size. And then you gotta draw like some kind of shape. I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a pointed arch of some kind. Like do it like this. I'm not really an artist. I am not really good at making shapes. So, I mean, I can make shapes. You've probably seen my stuff. It's just, other stuff, So the one there was about the size of your about the size, but I'm going to make it slightly smaller. Maybe around the same. I'm going to trace around the side that I need, and then there's going to be a second part around the same size as the first, except it's going to be more of a different shape. It's like 3 fingers long, and then it's more like a angled shape like this off to the side here. So around the same height, but definitely slightly smaller. Okay. Hold on. I want to make it slightly smaller, slightly more narrow, slightly more pointed. There's a lot of stuff that you need to do in order to make sure that your thing is good. And remember that it is just that you want to make these as bigger than you think you should, because as they say, measure twice, cut once, or it's easier to subtract than it is to add when it comes to stuff like this. When it comes to stuff like measuring or like making a fursuit or making something like this, you really need to be sure what you're working on is more accurate to what you want. And you want to make sure that it's more pointed like this. It's approximately the same height. So now I'm just going to trace it out and cut it out. I didn't have a scissors earlier. Now, the way that this works is that this is going to be the side. Slide. And slide. And then this is going to be the front. Or like middle part. This side attaches to this side, and this side attaches to this side. There's 2 of them, and there's gonna be 2 of them. So you kind of just like, you want to make sure that you have these things all pointed out. You want to remember to keep your templates on you at all times, especially when you make it yourself. You do want to make sure that you do know what pieces you are. You might want to draw on the side that you're not going to work on, or at least pin them to the side that you're not going to work on. It is always nice to have these sorts of things on you at all times. And I'm going to grab the scissors. So we got the scissors here. Just cut out this part.
side piece. Then we got the front piece. I don't exactly know if these are front or side pieces, but I do know that they do connect in a very interesting way. When you have notches like this, it basically like denotes where you're supposed to sew. But it's to make sure I remember where to put them. So I'm going to like have it like, it's going to be like a line here, and then it's going to be a double line here and here, basically just like denoting that, oh yeah, this side is where it goes. They attach like here, and then just like curve around and attach, and then they're going to be making little claws there.
This seems like I guess the last vlog of the video. I'm gonna be doing like these. I decided that I'm going to be, that at the end of every video, every part, we're gonna be having like this big thing where I just like talk about stuff. So luckily, some stuff has been happening. Well, sorry, the camera sometimes glitches a bit. Probably doesn't matter. Okay, so first off, I took my written test for my driver's license, so I passed. Yay me. I went on vacation earlier this week. I didn't take a lot of pictures. It really wasn't that interesting, but I spent some time with my family. And that was a fun little bit. But the real thing is that I purchased some stuff from Amazon earlier, and I'm also going to, I just got a shipping notification that the fur that I ordered back on the 14th is finally going to be shipping, which means it's going to be here at some point in the future, hopefully in the next week, which means that I'm so close to getting the fursuit done. And I feel like things are finally going my way in the fursuit department. In real life, in my online life, it just seems like everything's falling apart. There's just a lot of stuff that's been going on. March and April had just been a rough month for me. It's a really sad time. I really don't like feeling so powerless to do anything right now. No matter what at this point, I feel like no matter what I do, I'm kind of just running into a brick wall, and if I keep going, I'm going to lose everything that I worked so hard. I don't want to be alone again. I know that there are people who won't leave me, but I don't know, things aren't the same, and I want things to be the same. I want to be happy, but I want everyone else to be happy as well. And the way that I am is that if my life is worse off because they want to be happy, then so be it. I'm just the scum of the earth, right? Who cares about some worthless scum? It's so much fun to think that, but at this point, it doesn't really matter what I want, because what I want doesn't matter. It's only my friends. It's only my friends that matter. And if I need to suffer so they can be happy, then so be it. All the power to them, I suppose. I just don't know what's going on anymore. I just want to have a nice life. I want to be nice. I want to be there for people, and sometimes I just feel like I can't do that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry that now, considering that everything is going off on a high note, and I guess that my life is kind of just like being linked to this fursuit thing that I'm doing. Maybe it'll get better when I finally start making it. Hopefully. There's a lot of stuff writing.
There's a lot of stuff that's going well, but there's also a lot of stuff that isn't going well. And as of right now, I don't know how life is going to turn out. But I hope it turns out great for me. And I hope it turns out great for my friends as well.